We have to put that like in a tag on the very beginning. This podcast contains
This podcast
is just nothing but
many
spoilers.
Welcome to Totally Off Track with Vern and Paige. I'm Paige.
And I'm Paige.
No, you're not.
I'm Vern.
Stick to the script.
My bad,
you
sorry.
motherfucker.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at last week's script.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and with us today is our good friend Czarrles Snarles Whitebread, formerly known as Charles Whitehead.
Glad to be here.
I've been waiting all day for one of us to say that.
Yeah.
Czarrles Snarles Whitehead.
We are so excited to have you and also to call you names.
Okay.
So, the last 2 weeks featured our good friend Jacob Kelleher. He's gone now, but I hope that you enjoyed those that doubleheader.
And I would like to, just on behalf of Totally Off Track, I'd really like to apologize to Jacob's family. We did not know that wiring was loose.
Yeah,
and,
it's...
but to be fair, he shouldn't have been drinking water around it anyway.
It's true, and, you know, he's in a better place now.
Yeah.
So, it's fine. But anyway,
I see where the podcast gets its name now.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, so last week we did a, oh, wait, we're a podcast. We're a comedy podcast. I didn't even explain what we were.
Yeah, by the way, we're a podcast.
To all our new viewers.
To all our new viewers.
To all our new viewers and our current hosts, we are we're a comedy podcast, and we discuss all sorts of things. We discuss philosophical issues,
hypothetical
situations, and social issues.
And today we have a social issue, because that's how the rotation goes.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about the bitches in games. Or women in video games. In Vidya.
Okay,
Right?
that works
Right?
out.
Isn't that what we're doing?
talking about,
Okay.
There's been a thing around for a couple of years now called video games.
Vidya.
And we were just going to discuss the ladies, the female gender, and how they are represented in those games, if they're represented at all. And we brought in our friend Charles Whitehead to discuss this, because Charles, you've played a game before?
You do video games sometimes?
Every once in a while I'll put on a game.
Sometimes he'll put on a game. And that's enough credentials for us. Because I've never played a game except for Sneak King, so...
I mean, you don't have to play any games after you've played Sneak King.
That's true.
You've
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Would sneak again.
Would sneak again. Yeah. 10 out of 10 would sneak again.
Yeah.
Alright, so
Give
I
it
guess
here.
that we might as well just go right into our thing. Oh, thank you all. No, we'll get to that later. Fuck that.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't forget it.
So
Forget you all.
Thanks
no,
and shout outs
forget
at
you
the
all. No thank yous yet. So
have to
anyway,
wait.
I guess let's get into our topic about bitches and
Yeah.
games.
Okay. So what kind of tipped us off on this is I guess recently there was an E3 2014.
There was an E3.
And I did not know about this, but apparently there's a little bit of hoopla over the upcoming Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Unity, because there's no female character in it, no female playable character.
Yeah, there's no playable female protagonist, and it wasn't so much that as it was the reason they gave for it, which part of it, half of it's kind of like legitimate, which is the main character like is a male protagonist and has been throughout the games, and it's different incarnations of him, as I understand it. I don't know.
The ancestors of the main character.
Right.
That's kind of what it is, yeah.
Exactly. So
I played the first two.
And
Good games.
Yeah.
And that's I've heard they're great. I just don't play anything ever. Actually, I just don't have consoles to play them on, so whatevsies. Anyway, the point being is that that was kind of legitimate, but the other part is what upset a lot of people, where they said that it would just be too difficult to animate a woman, because it would add so much time to their production release date, I guess. if that made any sense at all.
It would take longer for them to make the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were on a tight schedule.
Okay.
Exactly.
Or
And
something.
and of course that upset a lot of people, especially after a former team member, like design team member, said that it would really only have taken 2 extra days to get all of that content in. And so that's kind of like what spurred our discussion. But really, we're here to talk less about that because, as far as I know, none of us really know that issue in and out.
I know Assassin's Creed is a game, and I know you run around.
You're doing fabulous, Vern.
Yep, I know
That's
that
why
much.
we keep you around.
Well, you know.
But we are going to talk about female representation in games and why that's important. So, Charles, do you have thoughts on this?
Actually, yeah. Back on the E3 topic. So,
Go
did
for
either of you two watch the Nintendo's E3?
That's the
Direct.
only
Okay.
E3 I watched.
So then you'll notice. Did you? So you saw the Zelda Wii U?
I'm
Yes.
so excited.
Okay. So then there was a lot of people looked and kind of analyzed that trailer pretty heavily, and they looked and they saw that Link has a little mini ponytail, and when he takes his cloak off, he's got a bit more of a feminine face this time. And some people chalked it up as being younger, but some people were like, "Whoa, could this Link be a girl?" And then the creator of the series, well, specifically the creator of this game, said, "I never explicitly said that Link was a guy." And then a few days later, he came back and said, "No, I never said that Link was a girl either. I just was trying to stir
This
stuff
was Shigeru
up."
Miyamoto?
No, it wasn't Miyamoto. It was Ao Aonoma. I think that's close to how you pronounce it. It's not Miyamoto. It's Aonoma. But
I was about to say something really racist. I'm
yeah,
glad I didn't.
I'm glad you didn't too, because normally you would. But so
We're
then
proud of you.
that kind of spurred a little discussion of its own about how could Link feasibly be female. And the series has always been The Legend of Zelda, and it's always been rescuing the Princess Zelda. But there was this discussion that went on for a while, and it wasn't so much controversy as it was just like, what if Zelda was the prince and Link was a princess? Or not a princess necessarily, but just a female, and what would that do? And of course you had some people saying that, oh, that would be the fresh new take that Zelda needs. Some people saying, no, they shouldn't change the formula that they've used for years and that people love just because some people want Link to be a girl. So, I mean, that didn't really lead to a whole lot, but, it was kind of interesting, and it made me think, like, whoa, what if Link was a girl?
Well, I mean, I feel like if they just swapped the genders, it wouldn't really be a shot in the arm. I just feel like it'd be the same. I mean, Link, you can tell by looking at him that Link's male, and you can tell by looking at Zelda that she's female, unless she's Sheik.
We still don't know what gender Sheik
Yeah,
is.
we have no idea what gender. But I don't feel like there'd be really anything that crazy out there new and everything.
You wouldn't think that it would be huge, but I don't know. It's different strokes for different. I think it would be huge, not from like a negative standpoint. I just think it'd be like, whoa, like, I don't know, Link's a girl. There would be so much from like. Did either of you two play Skyward Sword for the Wii or know much about it?
I know,
but
a
I know a
about
little.
it.
Okay, so maybe you've played Twilight Princess then. The point I'm getting at is more recent Zeldas have tried to build character a little bit more and incorporate story a little bit more. And I honestly thought that having Link as a girl would open so many more avenues. For example, if it was still Princess Zelda, Zelda doesn't even have to be a prince in that situation. Zelda can still be a princess. Link could be a princess. You could get a prince and a pauper scenario, something like that. And so, I don't know. I think that would open up a lot of potential stuff. But that's sort of getting off the topic of our track. But
No.
You mentioned E3.
Totally.
I guess that.
No, that works. Did the creator say that? Like did the creator say that he never mentioned Link was a male or female in all the Legend of Zelda games, or just the newest one?
The new one. Link's,
okay.
No, Link is.
I was gonna say Link is
very canonically confirmed to be male in every Zelda iteration.
Yeah. I think as a female and these things.
You are a woman.
I am in fact a woman.
We have representation.
We have
from the fair sex.
We've got dat representation. No, and I think that, like, as someone who doesn't play a whole lot of video games, companies and video games that make an effort to represent my demographic, they're the ones that I'm more likely to buy. They're the ones that I like more. And as it is, like, we're a growing demographic in the video game industry. Women are. And so, I think that one, the Nintendo E3 was very impressive. And, two, I've played Mario Kart 8. So I'm considering, legitimately, I'm considering buying a Wii U for those reasons. And I love open world, and open world Zelda games sounds awesome. Right. I mean, they've all kind of been, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so I think that, but if it came out that, like, Link was going to be a woman, or you could play Link as a woman, like, it gave you that option, that almost solidifies my decision to get one, because I'm still sort of on the fence about it.
You'd be buying it just because it's female?
I would be buying it because
supporting the movement.
To support the movement. Gotcha. Well, I mean, and that's not why I'm considering getting a Wii U, but that's certainly something that would like push me in the direction of spending my money to buy it.
Okay.
As opposed to not.
This about Zelda has brought up two things for me. The first is another big, hotly anticipated Nintendo game is the new Super Smash Bros. Game. And I'm not very familiar with Fire Emblem. Mm-hmm. My first introduction to Fire Emblem was whenever, like, Marth and Roy were in.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it was mine too.
Everyone's.
Yeah.
But I've not played any of the games since then. But I saw there was a new character coming out, and I'm totally spacing on the name.
Lucina? The female?
It's a character with a book.
Oh, that's Robin.
Robin, okay. Character with a book, and apparently they're from the Fire Emblem games.
Yeah, they're Robin and Lucina are from the most recent one.
Well, at the end of the trailer, for introducing Robin and Lucina and all these characters, they said you can also play as the female Robin.
Yeah.
Is there just like different timelines or different things where
No.
Robin is a different?
So in the game, Robin. So there's a thing called the My Avatar, and basically it's you can make your avatar male or female. You can color their hair. You can change their hairstyle. Do stuff like that, and you can be a male or a female. So I mean, I think it's good that Nintendo covered this base, and I think it also makes sense. You know, a lot of people made a female Robin. I never did. I only have 2 files, and they were both male. But, I mean, that's really not important.
I mean, that's
right,
fine.
Right. The idea was just that, like, you did it in the game, so allow for it in Smash as well.
Makes sense.
And, yeah. So that's why the female Robin was brought in, and also Lucina, another female character, a very prominent role in the game, but... she got in over the game's main character, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The main character, I guess... Okay, the main character of the game is probably your avatar, but the typical main character, like the Marth of the game, is named Crom, and he was also in that trailer, too, and he did not make it into the game, and Lucina did, which I kind of laughed because I don't like Crom. But,
well, that's like what Super Smash Bros. Is. They want to put the characters that fans really...
Right, and Lucina's massively popular, too. Lucina and Robin are both massively popular. Lucina's probably the most popular character in that game, to be honest.
Really?
Yep. Both from the Japanese standpoint and the Western fan base.
So that kind of opens up a thought for me, which is, there are a lot of, like... I mean, I don't know a lot of people who are horribly, horribly against putting women in games. Like, all of my guy friends are like, yeah, that'd be fine. Whatever. Like, they don't really care one way or the other. And a lot of my female friends are like, yeah, that would be awesome. And they do care, but, like, it matters to them more, but they're still going to play games regardless. But in terms of, like, the strong female characters that already exist in games, or like the playable characters who are really good, who have like really good backstories, do they kind of stand out in that sense then? Because I've noticed that there are a lot of characters that people like in video games, but whenever, my guy friends or my female friends or whoever talk about like really prominent video game characters, a lot of the times, most of the times, they're really talking about a lot of the super strong female characters, maybe just because of the novelty of it or whatnot. But am I making any sense?
Yeah, and actually,
Okay.
you touch on an interesting point there. So, I mean, if you had to ask me to name the strongest female in gaming, I would say without a doubt it's Samus Aran from the Metroid franchise.
Mm-hmm.
From back in the days of the NES, when you beat the game and you find out, oh, she's a female, she's always been, I would say, number one amongst female game characters. And
That's an interesting side note. That was kind of like a twist ending.
yeah,
that
it's
was
like
considered a
you've,
twist ending.
you've
to
been
the
playing
original
as this
Metroid.
badass space hunter, and then suddenly you beat the game fast enough, and you've been playing as a woman this whole time.
Deal with it.
Which was
You got the boobs.
which I thought I still think to this day is pretty funny. But and actually, yeah, Samus is huge, and it's funny you talk about a strong backstory. In the most recent Metroid game, Metroid Other M, they which Avery just made a face. Metroid Other M is one of the most universally hated games I think I've ever.
I was going to say I've heard nothing but negative things about.
And so,
Other M.
okay, Other M had, depending on who you talk to, I think it was solid gameplay. I liked the action sequences. I liked that Samus was a little quicker. Avery's, not his head. The gameplay was pretty fun.
Good, good.
I don't know, the environment wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. What people really hate is the storyline, which had more storyline than any other Metroid game. People just didn't like it. And the characterization of Samus.
Wasn't it? I've heard about this. I've heard complaints about this before. Wasn't it essentially like the story was made out the reason Samus was the badass that she is was to impress a man?
Okay, that is one way you can interpret it, but let me explain what happens in the game.
Okay.
So, at the very beginning of the game, Samus gets a distress signal from this ship. It's called the Bottle Ship.
Okay.
And she gets a distress signal from there, and so she goes to check it out, because, she's an intergalactic bounty hunter.
Okay.
And this takes place pretty late in the Metroid franchise. It's happened right after Super Metroid. And so it's pretty late in the franchise. Super Metroid was her biggest adventure to that point. So she's just gotten off, so she hears this distress signal, and so she goes. And so she gets there, and she finds a Galactic Federation. Just think of them as like Space Marines.
Okay.
She finds a Galactic Federation ship there. And before she was a bounty hunter, she worked with the Galactic Federation, and she worked under a man named Adam Malkovich. And Adam Malkovich was her commanding officer for many, many years. Some people suspect that, and it's kind of hinted at the game, that they might have been romantic partners.
Okay.
And so they had very, very close ties, but she was always serving under him because he was just a higher rank. And, the Galactic Federation, that happens. So she runs into him. It's been probably, I don't know, 5, 10, somewhere between 5 and 10 years since she saw him last. And the Galactic Federation was commissioned, I guess, on a task to investigate this ship. And by trespassing there, Samus is, kind of trespassing on what they're doing by going there. So she agrees to help them, and Adam agrees to let her help him, but only if he is the commanding officer at that point and she follows what he says. So it's sort of like a rank and file thing, and some people could interpret it as her trying to impress him. The game plays it off more as a, she has tremendous respect for this man. He was her commander. He taught her many, many things in the field of battle. And I guess...
Spoiler alert, at the end Adam dies.
Oh no!
And,
Oh no.
Oh god, I was so looking forward to knowing in game. No, I'm kidding. Go on.
So yeah, Adam dies, and it's kind of sad. He actually sacrifices himself so that Samus can go and kind of unveil. The whole thing is a really big mystery as to what in the world is actually going on here. And basically, they're right to the point, and Adam sacrifices himself in the stereotypical noble way. And it's sad, and Samus kind of has a bit of a breakdown. And to this point, she's blown up 7 planets. She's caused the extinction of probably 2 species. She's
That's
killed.
good.
She is.
She seems great.
She's cold. She's up to this point. She's been cold-blooded. She's been in the armor suit. You've seen her take her helmet off if you 100%ed a couple games. So at this point, her character really starts to come forth. It shows that she has people that she genuinely cares about. And it actually, that's one of the main reasons that it had hugely negative reviews, is because people are like, you took the biggest female badass and you made her into a little crybaby. And I don't know. I'm one of the game's biggest offenders because I don't think that it's as bad as a lot of people say it is. But I don't know. I found that was interesting because
that doesn't, like, on my own level, like, that doesn't bother me at all. Where it's like, maybe it was just the way it was done. I don't know. I haven't played through it clearly. But, like, just by your description, it doesn't sound terrible. Like, I think that it's important to humanize your characters, and I feel like if there's someone who you're close to, male or female, it doesn't really matter. You might get upset if they die sacrificing themselves for the cause. Like,
right.
That seems like a natural reaction to me.
Right.
When I had this game, I've not played it, but I had that game described to me once before, and when it was described to me once before, the person who was describing it to me just essentially described like Samus as being like a character from like Clueless or something, like a really dumb, ignorant person. And I was like, wow, I can't believe they would actually release that. And now I like, and you know what you're talking about. So I think the person who's talking to me earlier was full of crap.
Well, I mean, Samus does. Let's not act like a. I mean, Samus definitely does have some dumb moments. So, are you guys remotely familiar with Ridley, big purple space dragon? Always.
No, but go on.
Anyway, it's Samus's major rival. He killed her parents and almost everybody else on the planet.
Good.
Yes.
Up at this point, since this is again really late in the franchise, Samus has killed Ridley like
100 times,
5 or 6 times at that point. And again,
spoilers for those listening.
One of the big mysteries that's been going on this ship is that Ridley is being cloned, and apparently this is a process that's been going on for some time. The egg is finally born, and throughout the game you find just like different animals or other people that are in the Galactic Federation being horribly mutilated, and you can't figure out what it is, and then eventually you find out that it's Ridley. And so again, Samus has had this confrontation with Ridley several times, but she's had this confrontation with Ridley on the NES platform, the Super NES platform, the Game Boy Advance platforms that don't really open up to really showing what Samus is thinking. So Samus encounters Ridley, who again, she's killed 5 or 6 times, and she kind of like, she sees him, and it's like this big cinematic, like there's fire, and like Ridley's eyes are like glowing, and she freaks out, and there's this particularly gripping cinematic where like there's like the stereotypical pan and film where there's like a figure here and a figure here. You can't see this at all.
Can't see
the
it.
dolly zoom.
The dolly zoom, and it changes once it goes to one side of the character and goes to the other side. Like what you're seeing changes.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking. Okay,
So
not a dolly zoom. Not a dolly
So
zoom.
Samus is like stepping back at this point in her suit of armor, and then when it pans to the other side, it shows her as a kid what she was when her
Like
when her
trans-
parents were killed.
Okay, gotcha.
And like she's
Cold
freaking
Case.
out, and
In
it
Cold Case.
yeah, like Cold Case, the Cold Case shot.
Okay,
And
so
so it's
that's what it's called now.
and it one of the other Galactic Federation members who she worked with kind of has to snap her out of it. But a lot of people didn't like that. They're like, well, why in the world did Samus freak out about Ridley being alive? I don't know. I kind of also thought that it was a bit overplayed, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, if you killed this guy 5 times and he just keeps coming back,
Exactly.
and you like finally had overcome your nightmare and killed him, and then he comes back again, and this time it's his strongest iteration too, as you later find out. It's like, I don't know. There are a lot of situations in the game where they do kind of make Samus to be maybe not as hardcore as she once was, but I don't know.
But they, at the same time, they humanized her
They
a
tried
little
to make Samus a character and not just a girl behind a suit of armor, because I don't know. It's cool that
It's
it's a
not
girl
fun.
behind a suit of armor, but until you characterize her as female, it could just as easily be a guy behind the armor.
Right. And I don't, like, and all of that, even though, okay, I think that the problem here is, this is partially why I think we need more representation in video games for women, because people can't do stuff like that without getting a lot of backlash. Like, oh, well, she's weak, and are they doing it because she's a woman, and like, blah, blah, blah. Whereas if we had more women who could just be the badasses of video games, like, who could
There'd be more room.
Yeah, there'd be more room for people to humanize them, or to have the tragic Lara Croft I got raped backstory.
bit.
Or like, right? That's her
That
thing.
happened? That happened? I
I'm
did
actually
know
not super familiar with the Tomb Raider series.
Yeah, I'm
Avery, can
pretty
you
sure
verify?
I'm pretty sure her backstory is she got raped, and like that's partially why she's the way she is.
Oh.
At least that's. I know it's something like that.
Okay.
Now I have to look it up because I don't want to like.
Well, while you're looking that
Yes.
up, here's you kind of remind me. One of the reasons I got a PlayStation 3 was to play a game Heavy Rain.
Oh yeah.
I thought it looked really interesting, and I thought it was described to me, as like kind of like being like a choose your own adventure kind of game, and it sort of kind of is. The decisions that you make in that game influence things that happen later in the game. In that game, there's 4 different characters you play as.
There's Scott Shelby.
Scott Shelby, Ethan. I had to think of his name because he looks a lot like David Duchovny, so I always called him David Duchovny.
I hate when that happens in game.
Yes. There's a federal agent whose name I cannot remember, and then there's a female character whose name I also cannot remember. She is okay, and so the game it's it's kind of a murder mystery. It's really fun. If you get a chance, you should play it. You start as Ethan, then you play as Scott Shelby for a little bit, then you play as the detective, the federal agent for a little bit. You go back to Ethan, and you play as the 3 male characters for a big percentage of the game, and then a little over halfway through, you start playing as a female character, and it's up until this point every character is like really well written and like really well acted and everything. I was making decisions in the game when I was playing it based on how I feel that character would act. Like there's a situation like there's a situation.
Spoiler alert.
We have to put that like in a tag on the very beginning. This podcast contains
This
podcast is just nothing but
many
spoilers.
spoilers. We're changing the name of our podcast to so many spoilers.
So many spoilers. Keeping with the alliteration.
Go on.
But anyway, there's a sequence in the game where one of the characters is you're given a decision whether you want to shoot somebody or not. And normally, I think in any other video game, I'm like, whatever, I'll shoot him. But with this game, because I had entered, been in the character was really engaged. I was thinking about it. I think this character would do this, but I don't think this character would shoot somebody. I don't think that, and it was really gripping. So it was like really engaging. And then we got to the sequence in which you played as the female, and it was really kind of disappointing because the very first sequence of the game, like, men come in and they try to take advantage of her, and it's just like, oh, she has nightmares. And it's like, oh, well, granted, it's been a while since I've played this, so I couldn't be misremembering things. But it's like, if she's plagued by nightmares or insomnia, maybe just have a trippy, scary sequence in the game, and not it's like, oh, well, people are breaking in to try to take advantage of her. Like, no character in the game prior to that point has like you're invested in the character. You don't think like, oh, by the way, this guy's a male. She's the only person that like ever like no one ever tries to like take advantage of a male character. She's like very sexualized, I guess, and it's kind of a letdown. And I was kind of disappointed, but like not immediately after, but the next game, the people that made Heavy Rain made Beyond Two Souls, and the main character of that is played by Ellen Page, and they did a really, really good job of having an interesting, like, dynamic female character who you get really engaged in, and there is like a romantic like subplot and everything, but that's
not the focus.
That's not the focus, and so I feel like. I don't know. I don't know enough about the stories of the games or anything, the company, but maybe it was like Quantic Dream realized, oh wow, we did not do a very good job with the female character. Let's recoup that. So I mean, I do think gaming, or just based off that, I do think gaming companies do learn like, oh, we should put forth equal effort in all of our female characters, make characters that people want to play as, and regardless of their gender, if the character is interesting, you're going to want to play them.
Yeah.
Right.
Paige, do you have
I looked
answers?
it up, and I may have been on drugs. I wasn't on drugs, but I'm definitely misremembering something because her backstory is that her mom like dies in a plane crash, or well, it originally started as there was a plane crash, and then in later versions of the story.
Because that franchise has been rebooted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was a lot, actually, and I was just skimming, so... But I think that I mean, so maybe I'm just like wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of a different character. I know that there's a lot of there's a lot of annoyance though because they use rape and relationships as a lot of the reasons why women are the way they are in video games.
Yeah, it's
as opposed to just being.
I've never played a game where I was playing as a male character and someone tried to take advantage of the male character. That's always
right.
Something that happens to a female character in the game.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
Right, like why? I mean, why can't something else have happened? I mean, like for men in like with their backstories, like the rough, gruff men who like pervade these stories, a lot of times it's like, oh well, someone
died.
Who is close to them,
their
dad died,
their
or
daughter.
like their best friend or their daughter. It's like, or sometimes it's like a significant other like cheated on them, but like or something like that. But it's like, I think that
it's a different kind of trauma.
It's a different, yeah, it is. It's a different kind of trauma, and like
I don't know that you know like usually if you've been cheated on, I don't know very many stories that were in which I don't know very many good stories in which the protagonist of the story decides like I've been cheated on, I'm going to take revenge with a gun. Like it usually makes more
Grand
sense.
Theft Auto 6, sell it to him.
Yeah. There we go, perfect.
there you go, Grand Theft Auto.
Sam
we've
Hauser
got
will
your
be calling
new-
you.
Yeah, we'll be
Rockstar,
calling us.
look us up.
Yes.
Oh man, no, but I don't know. I think that like that's part of it. I just honestly, the characters that I remember really well. Well, okay, that's one of the reasons I like Telltale games.
I was about to later on. I was going to go to like Clementine.
Okay, good, because I don't know a lot about The Walking Dead. I do know a lot about The Wolf Among Us, and I'll say that Snow White is one of my absolute favorite characters ever. She's not a playable character, but you have the choice. If you're not familiar with Telltale games, you make choices.
Similar to Heavy Rain.
Yeah,
Similar to Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
Not quite as I would say the
Similar to Mass Effect without as much combat.
Yeah.
So like you decide how you want to react, and you're trying to like do the thing. In The Wolf Among Us, you're trying to solve a mystery. In The Walking Dead, you're
Trying to survive.
So there's all that, but it's very character driven. And what I really like about those games is that well, first off, you have the choice to like be really supportive for Snow at least, because you have the choice to like back her up, to let her defend herself and things like that, and you also have the choice to not do those things, depending on how you want to play Bigby, who is your playable character. He's the big bad wolf. Go to The Wolf Among Us. It's a great game series. Anyway, but I think that just in that game in general, you have a lot of really strong females who have no, like, tragic backstory that make them the way they are. Like, the scariest antagonist in that game is Bloody Mary. And it's because she wrecks your shit the first time you meet her. And so, like, I remember playing it, and, like, every time she showed up at any point, just, like, even in, like, a little small clip where, like, it was a transition thing or whatever, I would just be like, oh, fuck. Nope, not okay with me. I don't like her. I hate her. And it's like, I was legitimately terrified to go up against her. And I think that, but, like, there was no, like, crazy thing. She was just fucking crazy because that's just who she is. There was no, like, reason why she was crazy. There was no, like, oh, I was in a relationship with this guy and then he did a thing, so now I kill people in mirrors.
It just so happened that she was crazy.
It just so happens that she's horrible. She's a horrible
Is Clementine
person.
similar?
No.
Clementine,
Clementine's a
okay.
small child.
So, yeah,
I
just
don't know.
because this is actually one that I don't want to spoil for people who are
Yeah,
listening,
don't.
because, okay, Telltale games are very story-driven. They're very, I would say, little input. I mean, there isn't gameplay in the traditional sense. You
There's
point
not
and
as much. Yeah,
You
there's
point and
really-
click, you talk, I mean,
There are things you interact
it's more
with.
of like, it's like an interactive book, I would say, more than a game.
It's like a TV show. They're even separated into seasons.
Right.
So like season 1, episodes 1 through 5.
So, yeah, but on a very basic level, in that game you play as a character called Lee Everett. And in The Walking Dead, as the name implies, zombies have come back, and you encounter this small girl. Clementine's 8 or 9. It's 10 maybe?
She's young.
She's very, very young. And Lee is in his mid-30s. He's a college professor. Very, very, he's a good character. Very strong individual. And he has no idea what's become of his own wife and child. He's too busy trying to stay alive to know anything about that. So he takes a liking to Clementine, and she's very vulnerable because she's 8 and there are zombies everywhere. And it's funny, actually, at the very beginning of the game, in a way, Clementine actually saves you, which is kind of...
Oh.
She saves you by... Well, I mean, it's not really spoiling anything, but it happens 5 minutes again. Yeah, so she saves you by doing a thing. And as the game goes on, it's about survival, but the game is really about Lee and Clementine. You encounter other
characters
right.
in time of survival.
You encounter other strong characters. I mean, most of the characters in that game are pretty well written, and they're written to be everyone has a very short temper in that game and gets mad very easily, and it makes sense because there's the hysteria of the world ending. Mm-hmm. But Clementine, throughout the whole thing, sort of, I guess, retains her innocence. She's, when she gets scared, she's understandably scared, but she's always happy, she's always smiling, and, she's really a nice part of the party. But then as the game goes on and Lee kind of realizes, Clementine's it's a dangerous world for a girl of her age. So, he cuts her hair for her, he teaches her how to use a gun, and, the story, he will do absolutely anything to ensure Clementine's safety. That's a big, big part of the story. Is he's not even trying to save himself anymore. He's saving Clementine, and Clementine really does develop into a stronger character. And in the second season of The Walking Dead, she's the main character. And
do you play as her?
Yes.
I have
I
to get into it.
Yeah,
sorry.
I actually haven't played it either, but
I'm so excited.
So, yeah, and Paige actually, so she mentioned Telltale Games, and you mentioned Heavy Rain, and I haven't seen any of Beyond Two Souls.
Beyond Two Souls, yeah.
But I think that that is a game genre that has really emerged on the main stage, I would say very recently. Now, are either of you two familiar with the visual novel series of games?
I don't think so.
It's called visual novel, or it's like that's the style
visual novel. It's, I mean, you would almost call them their own subsect.
Okay.
So like
okay.
Phoenix Wright is a visual.
Oh,
novel.
okay, yeah. Hotel Room.
Hotel Room 551. It's something like that. Hotel Room 510.
Something like that.
999 is an excellent game for the Nintendo DS, but that is a game. Just like a genre of game that's really only starting to take effect, really starting to take off now. It's always been big in Japan and amongst underground players in America. But
I think it really kind of exploded with The Walking Dead, didn't it? Because
no,
everyone was into the TV show and then they got really into the game.
I think it got much bigger because of that, but I would have to check my dates. But games like, I think Heavy Rain and Walking Dead came out at about the same time. Heavy Rain might have actually came out earlier. But I think that one of the things that's really sort of plagued the gaming franchise or the gaming industry in terms of female characters is just that there hasn't been the room to really develop characters in the way that we're seeing nowadays.
Yeah.
I think you look at you look at some of the old RPGs and even stronger characters like in Final Fantasy VI there was Terra and Celis, who were the two main characters of the games. They were both very strong female characters, but they didn't have they had pretty good backstories, and at the time they were considered new, but now you might sort of see them as archetypes.
Sure.
And I think that just now gaming is sort of becoming it's moving in a more narrative direction, and that's been met with good and bad aspects. You look at, again, Heavy Rain was really good, and then you look at Final Fantasy 13, who has a female protagonist that everybody fucking hates.
I'm sure.
But at the same time, that same franchise has produced several good female characters. So it's
Right.
like, I don't know, it's hit or miss, as is any narrative. But I think it's good that you two brought up Heavy Rain and Telltale Games, because I don't know. I think it's kind of like you said at the beginning. I want strong characters.
Yeah.
And that's started to come out. The Fire Emblem franchise has sort of been a pioneer for that in terms of female characters. They've all featured predominantly male characters, but they've incorporated very strong, I would say 1A and 1B female characters. If 1A is Marth, then 1B would be the female.
Sure.
Gotcha.
So,
Marthina.
I think, yeah.
I'm kidding. Oh, I would like to quickly throw in here, like just as a side note, which I meant to mention and then just totally forgot. I don't want any of our one listeners out there to believe
Any of our
that
listener.
even any of our listener to believe that I don't want like male characters. That's so fine, and I don't think that it's bad that we have male protagonists. I think that my point that I'd just like to get across is it's so cool. All I want really are strong characters, but in general. But for me, as like a woman who doesn't get that a lot, I feel like it's the implications behind not including women. It's not like trying to demonize the programmers who don't program in women. It's just because, they're just doing what they have to do. And sometimes it's about markets and sales and, whatever. But with the growing female gaming population, that's why it's become a bigger issue nowadays, I think.
Do you guys remember Super Princess Peach?
I never played it, but I
Don't.
remember it.
I don't. Do I want to? Is it bad? Is she in a
The-
swimsuit? Do I get to see her boobies?
No, Nintendo released a game called Super Princess Peach for, I believe, the Game Boy Advance.
Nintendo DS.
Nintendo DS, okay,
Yeah.
excuse me. Nintendo DS. And it was, it flipped everything on its head where you played as Princess Peach and you had to save Mario.
Oh, that's cool.
All of her attacks are based on emotions.
Oh, great. Damn it! See, that was almost awesome. That was almost so cool. And then, God, I hate it. Anyway, I don't know.
Along that same line, there was a very popular Flash back in about 2009, I think it was, called Brawl Taunts, and it was about Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And there's a section where Bowser comes up to Peach and says, Peach, you're one of those girls who sets women's rights back about 300 years. What does she say? You fight in a dress. You fight in a dress, you have a vegetable garden, and your most powerful weapon is your ass. And then Peach gets mad, understandably, and whacks Bowser. And then because one of her attacks is to hit with the frying pan.
Right.
And he hits
Of
Bowser.
course.
She hits Bowser with the frying pan, and she's like, where'd you get that frying pan? She's like, in my kitchen. And he's like, oh, you see? And I just mentioning that all of her attacks are based on emotions. That just reminded me of that. I'm like, Princess Peach.
Yeah.
Maybe not the savior that the female gaming population needs, even if she's the most recognizable female in gaming.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that what I want more of is what I've at least heard about Mass Effect with female Shepard, where like you don't even have to give them a reason for why they are the way they are. Just like they just are, okay? Because like I think that happens a lot with people, or like with male characters, where it's just like you just accept that that's their character, and they're like just straight laced, like, "Whoa, I'm serious and I'm gonna get the thing done." And like, but if you have a woman, it's like, well, we don't want her to come off like a bitch, so like we have to give her a reason for why she's a tight ass. Whereas it could just be like she's a tight ass and she wants to get the mission done.
I've heard from a few people that whenever they play through Mass Effect, they play as female Commander Shepard because the actress behind her is better. Like, is a better actress.
Oh, like the voice actor?
Yeah, they have a better actress for female.
Oh,
Shepard
nice.
than male Shep. That's just what I've heard.
No,
I've never played them.
I haven't played them either. I've heard good things, except for the ending of 3. Like, that's all my knowledge. Oh, and Krogans. Krogans are the best. I fucking love them. Krogans. Sorry,
Krogan.
not Krogans.
Croutons.
Croutons. Croutons are the coolest.
Dude,
Croutons
fighting
are
croutons.
pretty nice.
Man.
Yeah, I would. If there was like a crouton gun, I could see Saints Row doing something like that.
Did you hear
I
that
could totally hear it.
croutons are becoming extinct? I'm sorry, I'm just still making really bad jokes. No.
Anyway.
Paige, why did we even invite you to this podcast?
If you're lucky, your name's on the title.
Oh man. I think, are we running out of time?
Maybe, possibly, perhaps.
About how much time?
Possibly.
About
5 minutes?
15.
15. Okay,
Got it.
Oh,
15.
15. Oh, my
Okay,
goodness.
we're
Okay.
good. Just wanted to make sure there.
Well, do you want to use this opportunity to... Do we have anything else we'd like to say?
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I mean,
Charles?
you guys mentioned competitive gaming earlier.
We did.
So you guys have had some thoughts about that. Why don't you? We can shift in that direction.
Oh, well,
We can do that.
this has nothing to do with female representation. However, Vern and I are of, or at least I'm going to just speak for you.
Okay.
Vern and I are of the opinion that if you get too competitive, it's not fun anymore. And
Okay.
Charles is of the opinion that we're very wrong. I'm going to assume. I'm just speaking for everyone. Avery thinks that this is a stupid waste of our time and that he wants to go home.
So okay, I'll
there we
kick this
go.
off by asking first off to just kind of lay some groundwork. What is too competitive? From
One
your
time.
perspective, I'm not
Okay.
asking. I'm
No,
just
no.
asking for your
Okay.
guys' opinion.
I have a friend of mine who is fairly, I guess, recognized in the gaming world as being a professional gamer, or at least it was at one point. He was once. I'm not making this up. He was once ranked number 3 in the world at Halo.
Whoa.
And he was a featured. They interviewed him on Attack of the Show.
Oh wow!
Back when that was a thing.
Holy cow! I love that show.
I don't know if I should say the gamer tag.
Nah,
But,
you don't
uh,
have to. You can. He will be left anonymous.
Yeah, he'll be left anonymous. Anyway, he was just at some friend's house once. This is one of my favorite stories about this person ever. He's at some friend's house once, and they were all playing Super Smash Brothers Melee, and it came to sudden death.
Oh.
And it was between him and someone else. And sudden death is kind of like
One hit.
one hit kill.
Yeah.
What happens? You start out. It's essentially one hit. Whoever hits the other person first wins.
Basically, yeah.
Someone else hit my friend first. The instant, and that was game over. The instant my friend got hit, he paused the game, said, "Oh my gosh, I forgot. I left clothes in the washer." Got in his car, drove away. When I heard this, I was in tears. I was laughing so hard. I think that might have been going a little bit too far with being too competitive.
All right, Paige. Do you have a story that can beat that?
I don't because
But you yeah.
Paige
we'll
knows
take
that
you know
your-
what?
we'll
No,
take your thoughts.
I do have a story
Oh.
in a sense. It's not so much about Melee, but whenever the new Pokemon game came out,
Oh.
yeah, we
Oh God!
yeah. So whenever the new Pokemon
Rest
game
in peace, Webster.
came out, our university, like just some friends of mine and like just some people who were planning on getting it started the Webster University Pokemon League. And yeah, and it was like
Did you have badges?
we
did.
were going to.
Oh, really?
We still did.
Oh, we did? Okay. I never got one because I was really bad at it.
Okay.
But anyway, so we had, it was all set up, and you had gym leaders and like everything, and they had to apply for it. It was interesting. And so
Really cool idea.
It was a
I
really-
was a gym leader.
It sounds
was-
kind of cool.
No, it was a really cool idea. Like, it was going to be super fun, and a lot of us signed up for it. And the problem
Uh-oh.
with it is that a lot of the people who were like running it or who had some say in how things were going to go got really super competitive to the point where no one would be like anyone who is casual scum like me wouldn't be able to beat them. Or it's not even that they couldn't beat them, it was like so much that I couldn't beat them that I might as well not even try, because I know it's not going to happen, even if I had the luckiest turn of events ever. And it wasn't like that with all the gym leaders, just a few of them.
This is with the game.
This
was
was with
the
the
video game, not the card game.
Right, the video game.
Yeah.
And and like, so they trained their Pokemon. Like, we all played through the game the week it came out.
We had a 2-week period before the league started for everybody to train up their teams.
To train up their team and to figure out whatever. And it turned out that, like, the people who knew about the competitive side of Pokemon, they were able to, like, EV train and IV breed and all that good shit. Yeah, I know. It's okay, Vern. Don't worry about it. It's just to make your Pokemon stronger.
Okay.
In certain ways. So, and they were really able to, like, think of strategic things. So, the problem is that for those of us like me who didn't, like, commit a lot of time to the game and who didn't totally understand IV training to begin with, we, like, those of us who are like me, we just sort of stopped because we realized we were never going to get to that level. And I think that was kind of, for me, that's the point where being super hyper competitive is a little bit too much, because that made way for arguments, that made way for, like, just so much shit that happened. And those of us who were just sort of casual players who just wanted to have fun with, like, the story and who wanted to go around and fight our friends, like Czarrles as the water gym. Oh, I'm sorry, Haru.
I was gonna say I imagined, even though I didn't know, I imagined you were the water.
He was the water gym, and Tori, our friend Tori, was the thunder gym. Anyway, not thunder.
I don't know. Like,
lightning.
the thing is like, I mean, just I don't. In anything, there's gonna be people that are naturally, like, better at something.
And that's
people
fine.
It's like, obviously, like, I like playing baseball. It's fun, but I know that if I went out on, like Wrigley Field or something, I know I'd get, like, totally decimated out.
Sure, but the thing is that,
and I'm cool with that.
And no, and me too. Like, I'm so casual. I wasn't really expecting to win anything. The problem is that after a while, they were getting really snarky with those of us who were not who were casual.
Gotcha.
And it's like, I know that I wanted to start up a Wonder Battle gym, because in the new Pokemon games you can battle with it's like wonder trading. And we started to do this thing where we would wonder trade 6 Pokemon, and then each person would trade, and then we'd get whatever random Pokemon we got.
Oh, okay.
And then we'd battle with those without training them or anything. It was just totally luck.
Okay. Sounds fun.
Yeah, it was super fun. I wanted to start that up, but we were constantly kind of dismissed or ignored, so I never got a clear answer whether we could do that officially within the league or not. So I just sort of gave up on it. And then I just sort of gave up on the entire thing because I wasn't having fun.
And then you gave up on Pokemon.
And then gave up on Pokemon. No, I could never give up on Pokemon. So anyway, sorry to make this really long-winded answer, but I guess that whenever you're so competitive that it gets in the way of other people's fun, other people who don't care about the competitive side.
Well, yeah, and when I play games, I do try to win. I'm what most people would call a competitive gamer. And I think that the main issue is there are many ways to play a video game. And there are many ways to have fun within a video game. And the league, I'm glad you mentioned the league. The league was just a huge mess from planning. I personally thought the league fell apart when people kept bitching about the storyline.
Yeah,
because actually a lot of people don't know that the gyms were actually, after the first few battles and people said that, like, I don't know, things were hard. I had 2 teams. I had a team for people who were more competitive and then a team for people who were casual, because the point was for people to get the badges. It's just we needed more than 2 weeks to really find out where everybody was at.
Sure.
But I think that the problem just becomes, you mentioned the snarky people. The term filthy casual or something is usually used in, joking good fun, but some people actually mean it. And I don't know. I think that
I just happened to be friends with those people,
Yeah.
so no one was like angry at me
Yeah.
personally.
The,
But I heard a lot about it.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know. Competitive gaming for me has always just been like, I don't know. I've seen it as something that I don't know. I've just seen it as something that, you know, you can be good at. And a lot of people, I don't know. I try not to tread on other people's fun, but, you know, I don't know. I think that the competitive side is fun too.
Charles, you do a good job at it. And I'd say that
Well, I mean, competition is fun.
I would say that my official stance on it is
Don't be a dick.
yeah, well but it's like if you're playing with people who are just as like who are on the same level of competitive as you, then it's fine to go all out and be super competitive, and that's fine. I totally respect that. And then but if you have people who are casual and who really don't care or don't want to get into cuz for me, even after it was explained to me, I did not want to go through all the trouble of EV training and IV breeding and all that shit. Because that was just too much of my time that could have been spent doing other things. And so I don't know, I just think that if you're playing with people who you know are casual, like you said, you had 2 teams.
Yeah.
And that was great. I mean, I never beat any of the gym leaders, but I didn't care if I lost if I at least had a
fighting
semi-fighting chance. Yeah. And so I think that that's part of it. I don't know. So my official stance is don't be a dick about it. And if you're playing with casual people, realize that they are casual people. So don't get super uptight about it.
I think, you know, it really sucks if you go throughout life thinking you're really good at something and then you ultimately find that one person who's better than you. That that really takes, you know, I used to think I was really good at Super Smash Bros. Melee.
You're not.
And I'm not. I'm not. I found out that there's a lot more tougher competition than my sister in 2 level 1 computers. Since then I've learned, okay, I'm eventually in everything in life, not just gaming, but in everything in your life, you're gonna find that one person who's just a little bit better. And they're gonna find that person too.
So in terms of games, have fun.
I think I was gonna say your guys' stances seem to be don't be a dick, and that's my stance, but just on life in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to
Do you have any closing
our
thoughts, Charles?
closing thoughts.
Just that, I don't know. I think it's important for both sides to try to accommodate the other one.
Oh sure.
And I don't know. It's just play the game in the way that you find fun play the game in the way that you find fun and don't tread on other people.
And I know that we have friends who, whenever we are all playing games together, will not so much in good fun, criticize you for being so competitive.
Right.
And I think that that's the wrong side too, because
Uh-oh.
no,
okay.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you because I get it. It's you want to have fun being competitive, and we want to have fun not being competitive. And I'm somewhere actually in the middle where I like winning and I'll try, but I'm not gonna get upset.
You're not
over
going to
it.
go through the Rocky training montage
Exactly.
to get good. Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Yeah, and can I just say,
dun.
the least fun I have in games, and this happens more frequently than I'd like to admit, is I'll be playing Smash, or I'll be playing Mario Kart or something, and I'll be winning, and I'm not rubbing it in anybody's faces, and we're all just having fun, or at least I thought. And then I'll be in first place, and I'll hit a banana, and people will cheer. They will freaking cheer. They're like, yes, or they hit me with that. And I'm like, okay, once or twice, I'm like, yeah, that's funny. But then when it just continues,
Sure.
or lose a stock, and people are or in Smash, and they're just like, oh, and I'm like, come on, really?
And
I get that you want to see an underdog, and nobody likes to see the same guy at the top, but I don't know, I'm just having fun.
well, and I'll say that whenever we were playing Mario Kart,
I know, yeah, you guys are, it's a little different.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, and it was, we were making fun of you, but that's just because that's what we do. But also, whenever I can tell that you're getting upset, I try to, make jokes about it where it's okay, Charles, I'm about to hit you with the blue shell, hope you don't mind. Boop! and you're just like, ugh, and your face is hilarious.
Blue shell.
Blue
That's because blue
shell.
shells are from Satan himself.
They are.
really are.
They really are. And it's like, why would you do that, Paige? You're not even close to winning.
Why would you throw the blue shell at me? Seriously.
So, but like, and I think that you can coexist together that way.
You can definitely coexist that way.
So okay, we really do need to wrap up though.
Okay. I know we're running short on time.
I swear to God, Vern.
But this is
Avery, how much time do we have?
We're
Zero.
As long as we
no
need.
time.
This
We have
is
no
this
time.
is good. This is gonna be well worth it. This is gonna be well worth
Okay,
it.
good.
Oh boy.
We were given a question about a podcast that we had. And I thought it was a really good question, and I thought that I thought it was too good to pass it up.
Go on.
Okay, we recently did a podcast on holidays.
Yes.
A hypothetical situation. Which holiday would you have all year round?
Mm-hmm.
And a very lovely person asked me this question. The thing was, it would be every day, perpetually, this holiday for 1 year. And they had a question about Thanksgiving.
Okay.
You suggested Thanksgiving
Yes,
as yours
I did.
initially.
Yes.
Their question was, if Thanksgiving was a holiday all year round, would you perpetually have people waiting in line for Black Friday shopping?
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna go yes, because if you are that desperate to go out on Black Friday just for the mad sales, like, you kind of deserve to be waiting there all year.
For an entire year?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, I'm actually somebody who waited in line in
Yeah,
Thanksgiving.
you should feel really bad about yourself.
I waited in line
I got a
for-
smashing deal, man. I got a $450 TV for like $150.
You know who
Boom.
got a really bad deal? The American Indians. The Native Americans.
Whoa, because Thanksgiving?
No, just you.
Oh, just in
He
general?
was talking about like a good deal, and I was talking about like a bad deal.
Oh, okay.
You should be giving thanks that we have.
I
that
waited
land.
in line.
I do give thanks. When I held that TV, I was like, thank you, it was worth it.
It was worth it.
No, I'm kidding.
I waited in line to get a pre-order, not the actual.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
To
See,
get
at
a-
least I could walk out of there with my giant TV and be like, ah.
Nah,
Okay.
I waited in line for a pre-order for the Nintendo Wii,
Oh.
and it was the night that you set the clocks. You set the clocks back.
Yeah,
That's right.
So there was an extra hour
Oh,
in line
man.
where nothing happened.
All right. Well.
Anyway.
Well, good
Hey.
friends. We do actually have to wrap this up.
But we're having so much fun.
Shut up, Vern.
We're talking
So-
about video games.
Shut up, Charles. So thank you.
We're having fun until
Yeah.
Thank you,
See,
every-
this is
I
what I'm
know.
talking
I'm
about.
so
Hating on
rude.
our fun,
You
Paige.
know-
see, you're doing competitive podcasting, and
Guys, no one wants to listen to an hour-and-a-half podcast where we ramble about women's issues.
Okay.
Like, fuck.
they wanted to listen to an hour, but
They
after
do want
Well,
to
that's why
hear.
we shifted topics.
Yeah.
They do want to
Exactly.
hear this last bit though.
we all just have to bring Charles back in the future.
Yeah, we will. Where I'd
love to come back.
Okay, guys, for the love of Christ, I really. I'm just sitting here trying to thank Avery, and you're here talking over me where I can't even
Avery
set
is
it
the
up
best.
properly.
We gotta thank Avery.
Avery, you're so cool. Avery is like about to burn you two because
Hey,
he really
hey,
wants to
Avery.
go home.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, I got a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
shout outs
he
to
got,
Avery.
He got the fire flower earlier, so like you better be careful. He'll wreck your shit.
And if we're gonna thank Avery, we have also got to thank the people that listen to the stuff that Avery
Jalen?
does. So, Jalen, yeah.
Thanks, Jalen.
Thanks.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks, my girlfriend.
His girlfriend.
Thanks,
Nicole.
thanks all 5 of you that listen. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we really do.
And we got some like really interesting like suggestions for future topics, and we are
And-
totally going to cover those. If you got more of those, keep those coming in.
And
more questions if you have those, keep those coming in.
you
too.
can
We really
keep
enjoy
those coming in at our Facebook page, which is Totally Off Track on Facebook. And then you can also send them in via email. It's totallyofftrack@gmail.com. Charles, do you have anything you'd like to promote? Like do you have a Twitter or a weird shit thing?
I guess
create
just
a
I have to throw this out there. If any of you in the St. Louis area are interested in competitive Smash Bros. Or just kind of want to learn more about Smash Bros. In general, St. Louis actually has, I would say, the biggest Smash Bros. Community, easily in Missouri, and one of the
Cool.
biggest in the Midwest. So
There you go.
yeah, just I don't know, message
it out.
me if you're interested.
How
We
do they message you?
have, Facebook. Charles Whitehead.
Okay. He's just.
I don't know. I have a Twitter, but I don't tweet. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at CWhitehead839. So I don't know. Other than that, YouTube 9-hole grains. That's one word.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
And yeah, I guess.
Team Missouri.
Yeah.
Missouri?
Oh yeah, Club Missouri.
Club Missouri. That's it.
Club
Club Missouri. On I just picked up a Wii Sports Club for the Wii U, and I've been bowling all day.
Oh my God.
Repping Team Missouri.
And if you'd like to hear more of Vern and myself, you can find me on the Twitters as tipping_teapots. I tweet usually at like 1 a.m. So have fun.
So you'll
with
probably
that.
be awake for it.
So you'll probably be awake for it. Also, Totally Off Track has a Tumblr
We have a Tumblr?
that we really don't use, but you can totally follow us at just Totally Off Track is the name of the Tumblr. And then
I forget Tumblr exists
I know
every
you
week.
do every week. And then I think follow Totally Off Track on Twitter. It's at Totally Off Track. And then Vern, you have a few things that you do.
I have Twitter. I have 2 YouTubes. I got the Facebook, and if you want me to give bad directions to anywhere you're going, you can call me up. I'll sit in your passenger seat. I'll get you lost.
And if you listen to this podcast and you don't live in the St. Louis area, meaning if you're not our friends, let us know, because we'd like to see if we're actually reaching out to anyone other than people that we see on a weekly basis.
Yeah,
so,
tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends about Charles.
What?
Tell your friends about Charles.
Tell your
I'll
friends
tell you.
about Charles.
Yeah,
he's
tell
a-
them about me.
Tell your friends about Avery. Oh, also, I want to thank Jalen for making some rad-ass t-shirts for us.
Oh,
We'll probably have a discussion about that in the next episode.
Maybe.
But we really need to wrap this up. So,
Okay.
all right. Thank you for listening to our podcast, and assuming Avery is ready to hit the stop button. He's not. So
Wait, no,
I
he
guess-
just did.
One last
Okay.
invitation to you two though. If you
sure.
wanna, since we've been talking about Mario Kart, if you guys would like, I live like 5 minutes walking distance from here. You guys are welcome to come play Mario Kart.
Good. Are you talking to the two of us?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Awesome.
Like right now after
Okay.
this podcast.
Sounds
See
good.
you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. See you. Goodbye. See you.